Hello. More and more, I'm feeling how little needs to be said. I've noticed how when I hear people speak, it's just the same thing in different words. Just more of the self-expression. More of the hero's journey, more of perspective building, more of dissolving fear. And so I find myself observing more and more. I've even stopped saying things in the moment. I hear someone speak about something and it's, clearly illogical, not true. And I can feel the sensation of needing to say something subsiding when I hear something wrong. Not wrong, not true, illusory, temporary. It's such an interesting practice of patience to interface with so many people who are of the age of adult and finding yourself through experience after experience after experience, knowing that you need to treat them with pampered gloves or like a child in many regards. You're you can't say what you can't say the truth of the matter for two reasons seem apparent. One, they won't understand, or two, it will, create the division. And it's interesting watching now the loudest voice in the room, that dynamic repeatedly show itself. How unconscious that is. and waiting for your turn to speak. Again, this dynamic of patience. And it's becoming odd because everything is becomes very hall of mirrors. You see how true everything is, how where we are, what is happening, who is who, what is what. And you're like, why would I change anything? The less I want from others, the more available they are. I don't really want anything from people. It's like infinitely intermeshed and separate at the same time. And my last video was about communicating paradox, and it's just keeps on becoming more true that you see, not figuratively, just as literally as can be, that everything is paradox. That in order for anything to exist, there must be an opposite, an opposition to it. And so when looking at something like an E8, Garrett Lacey's E8, and you see how from certain perspective it looks so fucking complicated, just so multifaceted, hyperdimensional. And then to know that there's a way that that object continues to collapse and collapse and collapse and collapse until it's merely one thing. Like it's just like you can see everything through a single perspective. And it's not it that sort of thing, concept, doesn't it doesn't it's not figurative. Again, it's that definitely, absolutely, really, 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 like as serious as a heart attack, is exactly what is going on. Is that reality is collapsing through its self-discovery. And self is not going to be discovered out in the stars and by mining asteroids and building megastructures and colonizing space. It's here, it's now. Whatever is absolutely true is true now. I understand the paralyzing effect that this can have. The loss of the sense of self. the mind-blowing experience of this realization. The psychological disorientation because it's utterly fantastic. It's unbelievable. How in the fuck could that be true? It's crazier than you could imagine. Literally. You can't even imagine how fucking crazy it is. I can't either. For sure. And the farther down the path, the lonelier it gets because you can only relate to human beings so much. Most people do not understand this. And you become okay with that because you're empowered. You're able to stand on your own 2 feet. And you're free. And you see things for how they are. And it draws back into the agnosticism that I feel to have anyone be a different way than they are. Because you love them for who they are, no matter what. And then the paradox arises. But I could help them. I could help them if they knew how to ask for help. They only knew. Maybe that's one of the most powerful things. Learning how to ask for help. The trust that's involved in that, and the confidence. Because until you have that, until you experience that, the world will continue to be separate in your experience. And what if you died? And what if you got burnt? And what if someone lied to you? What if you got cheated? Then what? Hmm. Part of that learning. Ah, I understand why you wouldn't do that to somebody. It makes sense now. Of course you don't treat somebody like shit. It doesn't feel nice. You see the inevitability. How truth has integrity and is the only thing that can persist. Lies cannot persist. It's impossible. Illusion cannot persist because it's not true. And reality continues to unfold. And the truth is revealed. Like, I couldn't believe that it would be this beautiful. Of course not. The cocoon looks nothing like the butterfly. No one could expect that. It's not reasonable. It's not intuitive. It's not predictable. And you just recommit yourself to loving everything and everyone day after day and being a more patient, more observant, more careful, more conscious, more curious. Me, I. Love you all.